Oh. Keep on looking too.
Got it. Really seem to middle of the ground. There's only a security guard there, though. I know, I'm scaring it. So take a couple of visits again to visit that, won't it? How have you been? Good. Oh, good.
See you again.
Oh, you too. I know. It's been ages, hasn't it? Yeah. Yes, we have. Quite pleased about that. I thought we'd do pretty well this season, but I wasn't expecting us to not like that old now. So maybe this will be a loser.
Now, I accidentally turned it off, but then I turned it back on straight away.
Oh, thanks for that.
Because I didn't realise the button underneath was there.
Oh, right.
It's pretty much straight away.
That's why I put it together.
I was going to say you'll be able to tie that together.
Yeah.
It's only a security guard in the middle. So
You're not missing much.
not missing anything, Chris.
No.
Yeah, so,
I've got the team coming out.
yeah, I know. You did miss. Did you got that?
Yeah,
Because you're down on
Yeah.
then,
I was
weren't you?
down there, yeah. Didn't you recognise me?
Second of people just walking around doing nothing.
Yeah, so I've been going back and forth to Mildura just to help them unpack,
So how
are
they
going? He's not very good. It seems to be quite fast moving, but it's really hard to tell because I haven't had time to actually stop and take the referee or get any business in on it. Because the house they're in I have to sell, which I have now. So basically, because their place is...
Here at S Convenience Oval,
levels.
we're having a great day so far. We're not too far away from our welcome to country.
So there's about, on the bottom, there's not a single room you can go into where you don't have to walk upstairs or downstairs. Two or three steps, right? Every single one of them. And then of course the upstairs. Well, we moved downstairs pretty quickly to the bedroom, but it's...
Don't forget folks to check out the merchandise control, the first side bar and clean too.
been on a frame for ages and a wheelchair frame I've been mentally and physically stressed the whole time. So it's hard to say that it's flat away. So like one time we were just chatting on the phone and she said, oh, she was going to be going to the house.
Not too far away, folks. From the welcome ceremony here.
But that was okay, so I packed up and went down. And another time I was there, she said, well, I'm going to paint most of the outside of the house that I can do. So I just packed up and went down. Yep. I was thinking it was evening. And I got there and I had all the paint with her on. And I got to my cousin's place and I said, I thought I'd just drop these off. And I said, then I'm going to head straight around the beach. I said, bottom stuff. I said, I can't do it. So I turned up and she said, what are you doing here? And I said, oh, I thought I'd come to the hand. So I thought, well, I'm missing something. Well, you know what I mean? They really need help because they had to do everything so quickly. Yeah. So the house has just been sold. 30-day settlement. They've already bought a new house. Okay. Yeah, so they already had a new house. And they borrowed off both sets of parents just to put the down payment on the deposit basically on that. And then just had a short booking now, which is only about $300 a month, which is not too bad. But they don't get anywhere near what they should have for their house. But they haven't got time to leave it on the market and wait for spring and wait for the rain and for all that nicer. And the market has just dropped actually up there. Yeah, it's sort of settled. Oh, it's dropped, mate. I'm telling you, it's dropped, yeah. The house itself will cost you $2 million to build. And they got 1.2 for the house. Now that's still a profit because he built.
Yes, okay. Well, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one good thing.
He was a builder, so they didn't actually lose money, but yeah, but he's a builder, so he actually built the house, and so probably 4 or 5 months before he was diagnosed, they'd been out looking at smaller property land, so he could start building their next house.
Yeah.
which was they were always gonna do in retirement anyway, instead of this house. It's not suitable for older people.
Yes, yes.
So they'd just been looked at land. They hadn't settled on him. You think, thank God,
Right, jeez.
because he wouldn't be able to build it.
No.
So they were going to go down from 10 acres down to about 2 to 3. Now they're just in this building block.
Yep.
But the house they've got is nice because Vicky, they were looking around and like the only thing you could find
Not
was
too far away from the welcome to country here at X Convenience Home.
and they were tiny doorways, bathrooms that you couldn't get lifters or wheelchairs or anything in.
Yeah, not really suitable.
Not at all suitable. Need mountains of modifications, you know.
Yep.
And she said, "This is fucking ridiculous. I must be able to get a new home here that's on display that they're going to sell soon. Surely, you know." So she rang one of the builders and said, "Look, this is what's going on in our life, and have you got anything at all that we can look at that might be suitable and easily adapted for wheelchair access and lifter access and stuff like that?" And he said, "We've got one house, and with very little modification it would be very suitable. So you can go and have a look at it if you want to display them."
Yep.
But they didn't have it advertised as a display. You know, you couldn't just go and look at it. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, so they went and had a look at it. It's absolutely perfect. Very small lot, but that's fine. Anyway,
Easy to look after.
yeah, the only thing they need to do is have like some ramps, access ramps put in, put a remote on the back garage door.
Yep.
Because that's the easiest way out to the outside area for him.
Yep.
And have the shower glass just taken back that much.
Yep.
And put a brace on it against the wall because people apparently like their glass just hanging loose off the frame. Apparently it's not aesthetic to have a brace on it. You just slip in the bathroom and go straight through that. And the toilet in the ensuite, which is like, this is the ensuite glass, is going to go back, and the toilet doorway is going to go back. And they'll leave the door off.
Yeah.
But they said later on we can just come back in and we can just put a big door in.
Yep.
Or even cavity sliding. If you don't want an cavity sliding, just take it with a wheelchair and lifters and things.
Yep.
So, and pretty much that's all that's got to be done.
That's good.
Tiny bits, you know, nothing much at all.
That's
And
great.
NDIS is paying for all that.
Oh, that's great.
So, whereas the other one, they would have had to pay for the whole house to be renovated. So, yeah, so they bought it because they were about to put it on the market. In 4 weeks, they were going to be putting this house on the market. And Vicky said, after they'd gone home and had a discussion for a couple of days, she rang her back. She said, "Please don't put it on the market. We'd like to buy that. We're just working towards getting the deposit for you, so you don't sell it." So yeah, so that's been good. I put a mark on one wall. So I said, "Oh yeah, I put a mark on the wall with the wheelchair." I tried to scrub it off, it wouldn't come off. I know Vicky will have that wall painted because of it, but we found the spot paint. We found the touch-up. So that was it. I thought there's got to be touch-up painting somewhere. Everybody has touch-up painting in this house.
Normally, yeah.
Anyway, so actually the painter who painted the house originally, he came to paint one of the, or two of the walls that were a really pale sage green. They really look nice. The bigger than like grey. So they're white.
All right.
And he was the one who had painted the house originally. And he said, and because I said I'd made a mark on the wall, and I said, "And I know the removalists when they move things in and friends are going to make a few marks." I said, "But there must be some touch-up paint." And he said, "Oh yeah, there is." So he went out in the garage, which was full of boxes for Vicky to unpack, and he just went and got it straight away. He said, "This is it here." He said, "So just keep it accessible." He said, "And all you have to do is just do a touch-up on the marks. You don't need to do anything else." You know, I said, "Oh, thank God for that." Because I told Vicky it was there. I wouldn't dare do the mark and not. She'd blame someone else. She's highly stressed. If she found it, she'd stress out about it. If I tell her about it, then she's not going to worry about it. It's just there. So, yeah. So that's
to be.
Yeah, it's good to be able to actually help them and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
So I don't get told much though. It's shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shocking what they're told and what they're not told. Anyway, we all was down there. Look, it was only, I'm going to say, 4 to 6 weeks after he was originally diagnosed, and the MND Society like you to watch this video with some support people and stuff around. So we did. There was Penny and Vicky and me and my cousin Anthony happens to be friends with them as well. And another lady there, and we watched the video. Whoa. Went way too long. Put far too much into one video. They should have sent them out a little dot point of what's going to be in it, so that they had an understanding of exactly, and they should have done part 1 and then like sent the dot points out, and then after part 1, 24 hours later they should have sent the dot points out about what's going to be in part 2, and but left about 3 days between part 1 and part 2. I was overwhelmed, and I'm a health worker. Right, the things that they said and blah blah blah, and then lo and behold, they didn't do that and things anyway. Because they said on the thing, oh no, now they'll be advising you to get, the feeding tube in very early before you really have major respiratory problems and da 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 da. No, he's down to 48% when he went for his 2-monthly visit to Melbourne.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, gee, that's low, isn't it? Well, there's only been 68% time before, because I'd asked him when I'd seen him after his previous visit, did they talk to you about having the feeding tube in, Kenny, and talking about the breathing machine or anything like that? Because I thought he already should have had it, right? No, they haven't even mentioned it. So the very next visit, 48%, so we've gone from 68 to 48%. Oh, suddenly, and they're in Melbourne, and they said, oh, we're going to have to get this feeding tube in urgent. So they go home. The next week they fly back to Melbourne again. And then they get there and cancelled. So he's fasted, not fed. So he only has tea, they cancelled. The very next day, cancelled. And then the anaesthetist decided with that sort of respiratory function, we really want him to be able to use the CPAP, the mask, and sleep at night and be able to use that. And he has to use that for 3 full nights and get used to it. Right? So it's cancelled again the next day because he's got to have 3 nights of this. So they finally did it late on the Monday afternoon. Meanwhile, they're paying for accommodation, not for Kenny because he was in hospital, but like Vicky's got to pay for accommodation. And the procedure's done at the Austin, and then after the Austin they normally go to Calgary, right on the other side of Melbourne, which is where the MND unit is, to learn how to look after the tube, use the mask and set up the mask and do all that. So then they've got to be there for 3 days. And of course, Vicky booked all the accommodation. She was told to be at the Austin for 3 nights. And then you'll be at Calgary for 3 nights, 2 to 3 nights, right? So she booked Austin accommodation across the road from them. She hates all that, right? For 3 nights, and then she booked Calgary after that. So when she rang up to cancel Calgary, they said, no, that's not enough notice. She had to pay for the hotel day. So then she had to go and stay there. And now she's on the other side of the city and having to come in for, I think it was 4 days? Come in and go back, right? And book more accommodation. And the hospital is across the road from the accommodation across the road from the hospital is known to be expensive in comparison to what you can get. So it won't choose, poor bugger. Yeah, and when he got home, because of all the times he fasted from fluid and foods, and the last day he ended up fasting, he had nothing for 27 hours. He was so dehydrated and unnourished.
Yeah, I bet he was.
It's taken him, so that was 3 weeks ago, and it's taken him, and we spoke to him on my birthday. And that was the best his voice had been and his breathing had been since he's got back, because he was actually hydrated and had some nutrition. And he said, oh, I feel a lot better than what I was. And I'm back to being able to, walk a very short distance and things. said, but I feel like I've got more strength in my arms and legs. And he said my breathing and my talking and stuff is a lot better.
Why didn't you get here earlier, Ross? Could have got your
I
drink.
can't believe they do that to people. They don't give a shit. And when Vicky had the last day at the Austin, she just told them off. She said, you know, this has cost us thousands of dollars in accommodation for me and this and that and the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stress on him, etc. And I said, oh no, if he's in hospital, you can stay in hospital with him. You don't have to book accommodation. This is the first you've heard of it.
He's not telling me.
That's what I mean, they're just not getting any information. This whole big fucking video from MND about all the things they'll do and how they can help you. No.
That is absolutely.
Because everything is just put towards the city, so it hit the city.
Yeah.
And the only other MND unit in Victoria is in Bendigo.
What?
Right? Which is only 2.5 hours from Melbourne anyway.
Yeah.
And in the Mildura region, there's at least 6 MNDs in Mildura. He's actually in Cardinal, so he's number 7. Somebody who else might be a little bit out might be 8.
Yeah.
It's known to run around the rivers, you know what I mean, mostly.
So what do they have on the
Unbelievable.
city like Mildura and so?
Mildura or another big city along the river.
Along that
And
area.
Mildura is the biggest.
Yeah, that's right. So,
And probably the furthest from.
so why wouldn't they have one there?
Oh, well.
There's like some big towns around that area as well.
No, absolutely not. It's just, that's where it should be. When he said it was there, I couldn't believe it because I said to him, well, I said, you July comes now. I
May as
said,
well have it.
they'll be able to
July.
do all your thoughts here and that. Won't they? They'll set it all up here and da-da-da-da. And Kennedy could have done that. The nearest MND centre is Bendigo, said. So we either have to go there or Melbourne. I said to him, Vicky gets really stressed in the cities. And they said, oh, why don't we go to Bendigo? And Ken said, Bendigo? He said, so you want my wife to drive 4.5 hours, so she's going to be the driver. When it's only 2 hours by train, even if we don't like the city. What we'd like to do is have it all done in New Zealand. But geez, like just from fasting, just a lack of fluids and nutrition. But anyway, we got over it.
That's something.
So, but it's like everything's so simple. You know, I know because of the people who live remotely, rurally, blah, 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 even in big cities, and it's just accessing stuff is bullshit. It has been for a long time.
But it just hasn't really gone better, has it?
No. I know, it won't change because everything's making people in the city need to vote as a general rule, you know, so they don't care. Absolutely. So I have to put this over. I'm not ignoring you, Chris, but I'll get sunburned.
Yeah.
And I forgot my sunblock, so.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot my sunblock. But I don't want to know, don't worry, because I don't want to get hot either. Andy, I meant to bring a tea towel. And I forgot. I had one in my bag. I've taken it out and put it on the table while I was checking my
I've done
bag.
that stupid stuff before. I don't know if I've done the same thing.
Fucking old timers, I'm telling you. Yeah.
Taking it out. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to Broken Hill because I wanted to surprise my sister because I hadn't seen it for ages.
Yeah.
And I was missing it. So I thought I'll go to Broken Hill and then because they were still in Melbourne at that point, and then I'll come home and then I'll go to Mildura later because I was going to come to the footy that weekend.
Yep.
And then I got a call, no, we're home now. And I thought, well, I'll go to Mildura first because I knew they had a lot of packing and unpacking to do. Well, Vicky did.
Yeah.
What's that bloody flashing light?
That's them telling them they can start because it's a recorded.
Oh,
Like it's a
okay.
7 game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. So how's Vanessa? Good?
Yeah.
Is her foot finally back to normal?
Oh,
Or?
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Takes ages, I know.
Yeah, it does take a while.
Yeah, that's straighten it back.
She got an,
Did he get to it too? Got a what?
She's got an ADHD diagnosis.
Oh.
She could have organised it all herself pretty much because it's bloody expensive to get it.
I know.
And she had to wait like months and months if she wanted to speak to somebody in Adelaide. So she ended up going to somebody in New South Wales, but just online. So
Bad.
I know. So she had to fill out all this paperwork, obviously. She ended up spending like, I can't remember how much it was. The last time she was online with him was for like 15 minutes. And that's something ridiculous.
Yeah.
The follow-up session. And like trying to go back and forth with like medication changing and stuff. And when you go to, because the medication is obviously like strong.
Yeah, very.
Medication.
Very strong, yeah.
When you go to the pharmacy, they treat you like you're a fucking drug addict half the time.
Yeah.
So what was happening is they put her on these Vyvanse at first, and like it seemed to wear off throughout the day, like it was working, but then it was quite like not working after a time. So they put her up a level, and then she was trying to like email them and talk to them about what was happening. It was difficult in itself.
Yep.
And then they put her on Dex, but then she would have to take like tablets every couple of hours.
I was going to say, you've got to take that all the time.
Yeah, and that was just a nightmare basically. So she went back onto the Vyvanse, but then a couple of times, for some reason, the scripts they'd sent her via message or email or whatever had been cancelled.
These scripts?
Yeah. So she'd go in to get the next lot of Vyvanse, and they're like, oh, this script doesn't exist anymore, it's been cancelled. And she's like, what? And she was getting upset because obviously it's like, and then they treat her like she's like some fucking addict.
Yeah.
So she was getting really, I'm like, okay, so we just need to get this sorted so it's technically good. So I think she's upset.
So who was cancelling scripts?
Well, we don't know, it must have been the doctors. The doctor over there or something.
Well, I hope I didn't charge her again and again and again for the contract.
So I don't know. No, I don't think they have, but yeah, it's like, oh,
Not that they should. Yeah. Well, my niece has just been diagnosed with ADHD. And her teacher asked her mum to get her checked. And prior to getting into see a pediatrician to get her checked, I'd babysat her and she was like running around and playing, and then all of a sudden she'd just stop. Oh, just got to stop and have a rest on. So I just haven't got it in me to go anymore. I said, oh really? Okay. So she did that 3 or 4 times during the day because I had them all done. And I thought, that's not normal for a 9-year-old.
No.
I mean, she's a little bit overweight, but I was a lot more overweight than what she was, mate, and I would never have done that. Never, right? And then sort of like at the end of the day, she was like complaining of pain up under the sippy stool. And I think, oh, I wonder what's going on there then. And she just wasn't normal enough because I said to Max, I said, did you go home? She said, how did the kids been? I said, oh, they've all been great. And she said, okay, she rolls her eyes. And I said, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to tell you unless they're doing something dangerous. You're right. Because I've already been told off if they've done anything wrong. They've been fine. Excellent. And so, and I said, but I said, you need to get taken checked out by the doctor properly. And I said, I don't think there's anything, and this is the reason why, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with her heart, because it's not really heart symptoms and something to heart and the need to stop. I said, but something else is going on. But naturally, had put this into a heart and it was through the belly. She said, well, you know, over the last 12 months, there's a few times I thought, you know, I'm going to take that girl in and have her bloods done and get things checked. Because something's not right. She said, and then the next day, she should be just back to normal and perfectly fine. She said, so, all right, she said, well, I'll book her into a GP and see how we go. So she did. And she had bloods done, and he did 2 referrals to paediatricians anyway for ADHD to get into her.
Yeah.
She had bloods done, raised liver function tests, raised cholesterol, raised protein,
Yep.
did an echo,
Yep.
and that was abnormal for her liver. Oh, come on, Blues. If it's there, you should get a score at least. No. Come on, Blues! Yeah, well done! Beauty! Anyway, she's got non-alcoholic fatty liver. What? Exactly, in a child. Anyway, so he sent that information and referrals to that to the both sets of paediatricians.
Yep.
And Madison rang the next day, one group, and they said, oh yes, we've got an appointment, yes, we've received all her referrals and the doctors had a look at them, and we've actually got an appointment for her tomorrow morning at 10:30 if you're able to come. And she said, yeah, I can come. And so that afternoon she was about to ring me. Yeah, rang your Blues! And the other group rang her that afternoon. She said, oh, I was just about to ring you and cancel that. And the lady on the phone, she said, oh, how come? And she said, well, we've got an appointment and da-da-da. She said, is that with a paediatrician? And she said, yeah. And she said, oh, okay, well, no worries, I cancelled this.